starting pitcher Lance Lynn,
pitcher Kyle Gibson,
Sonny Gray to the St. Louis Cardinals.
But this will not work. Let me explain. In 2023, the St. Louis Cardinals finished 71-91. That's their worst record since 1990. This finish was completely out of left field. Heading into the season, everyone was picking them as clear-cut favorites. Just take a look at this article by TheRinger.com. In it, the Cardinals are ranked as the 10th best team going into last season, and stated as a team that should post a low 90s win total and again seize another NL Central title. Yeah, that did not happen. And the reason for that was smartly predicted in this article by Call to the Pen when they mentioned starting pitching remains a clear weakness for St. Louis, who failed to address the need in the offseason. This killed them. The 5 starters for St. Louis, Adam Wainwright, Jordan Montgomery, Steven Matz, Miles Mikolas, and Jack Flaherty, combined for an average age of 33 years old, and the truth is, practically all of them show their older age. Adam Wainwright had one of the worst farewell seasons you could possibly imagine at age 41. Miles Mikolas' ERA jumped from a respectable 3.29 to 4.78 in 2023, and Jack Flaherty continued his downward descent into being a below-average pitcher. The only bright spot in this rotation was Jordan Montgomery, who had a solid ERA and was one of the most desirable rental starters at this year's deadline, where he went to the eventual World Series champion Texas Rangers. To fill the holes left by Montgomery, Flaherty, and Wainwright, the Cardinals, as mentioned, signed Kyle Gibson, Sonny Gray, and Lance Lynn within the first month of the offseason. But to start, I want to exclude Sonny Gray and focus on Gibson and Lynn. These two have been around the block for a while now, and at 36 years old, their prime pitching days are well and far behind them. In 2023, Lance Lynn had 32 starts stretched between the White Sox and Dodgers, where he posted a 5.73 ERA and a 1.394 whip for a grand total of .3 WAR. The main problem for him this year was the long ball. He allowed 44 in 2023. For reference, the second most he allowed in a single season was 27 in 2017. I believe the reason for this uptick in home runs is something I discovered when looking at his baseball savant page. As you can see, in 2022, his fastball ranked in the 69th percentile.
Nice.
But when we move to 2023, it's the worst it can possibly be. And diving deeper into his fastball, we can start to understand a possibility as to why. And it all comes from his fastball's horizontal break going from 6.7 inches in 2020 to 3.2 in 2023, meaning it looked a lot more flat to MLB batters. And I don't care who you are, if you're Aaron Judge or D. Strange Gordon, those guys can mash a slow, flat fastball no matter what. My hypothesis is further proven by the fact that Lance Lynn's slugging percentage against while using the fastball went from 297 in 2021 to 351 in 2022 to an incredibly high 512 in 2023. More than enough reason not to bank on a big comeback. Moving on, Kyle Gibson pitched for the Orioles and in 33 starts pitched to the tune of a 4.73 ERA and a 1.318 whip to go along with just .9 WAR. If it weren't for the Orioles' elite offensive bats, his 15-9 record could have easily been reversed, because not much went right for him. Looking at his baseball savant page, his expected ERA, whiff percentage, and other key important metrics are not where you want to be, and should bring very little confidence in him to post a sub-4 ERA again. That brings us to the third signing, Sonny Gray. There's a reason why he finished second in the American League Cy Young voting last year, and it's because he posted an incredible 2.79 ERA in 32 starts, even shutting down the Blue Jays in the playoffs. But I do have my reservations about this signing. For starters, he is 34 years old. I know for pitchers they can keep producing at an older age. That's why if he were a one-off signing, I'd be more than happy for the Cardinals. But when you pull all three together, a 34-year-old on a 3-year contract, and two 36-year-olds on a 1-year, it's not an ideal way to go about solving one of the worst pitching staffs in all of baseball. So let me show you what they should have done. As mentioned, they need youth. They need a starter that is entering his prime and can lead the rotation for a while. And to me, there's only one man on the market who fits that exact description, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The man coming from Japan who has posted a 1.72 ERA across 7 years in the Japanese Professional League. A division he has taken part in ever since he was 18 years old, and now at the prime age of 25, he is coming over to North America and is the prized possession among this year's free agent class behind Shohei Ohtani. On MLB trade rumors, he's projected to get 9 years, $225 million, which is an extremely hefty price. Now, I know what you may be thinking, the Cardinals don't typically spend big, but they were serious players for Aaron Nola before he returned to the Phillies for $170 million. So I think they can make a Yamamoto deal happen. That should have been move number 1. Then I could see them acquiring Sonny Gray to be the number 2, but that may be a bit too pricey when they need 2 or 3 more starters. So instead, I will go with acquiring Dylan Cease, pitcher for the Chicago White Sox who has the ceiling of being top 7 in baseball, and is currently at the lowest value he will be after posting an underwhelming 2023. But with 2 years left on his contract and his great track record, there is great reason to believe he should at the very least return to a sub 3.7 ERA pitcher. To acquire him, the Cardinals do have some interesting prospects in the minor leagues to include, and decent MLB ready players in the outfield that could be moved like Dylan Carlson. Make a deal centered around him and that could very well get the deal done. That should have been, and I guess still could be, move number 2. Moving on, to fill that third starter spot, they should have looked in the mid-tier starting pitching options. Someone like Kenta Maeda, Michael Lorenzen, or one of my favorite and who I think is one of the most underrated free agents this season, Seth Lugo. He posted a .357 ERA in 26 starts last year for the San Diego Padres and is currently projected to receive a 2-year $26 million deal. Someone like him should have been move number 3. And finally, trade Steven Matz to the Rays for Tyler Glasnow. It's something already being talked about by some Cardinals websites, and I do agree it makes too much sense. Glasnow is slated to make a decent chunk of change this season. That is normally the time the Rays dip out of the relationship and make a trade to get some value out of him. This is where the Cardinals come in, offer to pay half of Matz's remaining 2-year salary, a prospect, and acquire Glasnow. That should have been move number 4. To me, this gives the Cardinals a revamped rotation that would send shivers down opposing lineups. Listen to this. Yoshinobu Yamamoto at the 1, then Dylan Cease, Tyler Glasnow, Seth Lugo, and finally one of Miles Michaelis or Zach Thompson, who is a young guy that has been pretty highly ranked in the Cards farm system. But instead, their rotation looks miles from this, and they could be headed towards the exact same fate they faced in 2023 next season. That wraps it up for this video, but before you go, let me say this is not a St. Louis Cardinals channel, but rather one focusing on, well, pretty much anything I think of in the MLB world. This is also my first video here, so if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe so you can say you were here from the beginning, and hit the like button so this video can reach other like-minded baseball fans. Also, I'll be even more thankful if you share this with your friends. Okay, that's all. I'll see you in the next one.